NFT Worlds is one of the highest potential crypto projects out there. Today we're going to dive into why that is and cover some predictions for the future of the project. So let's dive right in. First of all, it's really important to get a general sense of what NFT Worlds is. So essentially, you can think about it as a layer one, where Ethereum is a layer one for decentralized applications and other applications on the blockchain. NFT Worlds is essentially a layer one of the metaverse. So people can build metaverses on top of their existing infrastructure, which is actually built on top of Minecraft. So we'll get into what that means in terms of the opportunity ahead of them, but you can think of NFT Worlds as a layer one where metaverses can be built by developers, by Minecraft builders, etc. So going into the kind of three aspects that make up the NFT Worlds ecosystem, first of all, it's the world building tools. These are the actual NFTs themselves, the collection of 10,000 worlds. I believe the floor price is around 4 ETH right now. And basically this offers a thriving ecosystem of open source mods, server infrastructure, custom in-game mechanics, all built off of Minecraft, which allows for a quickly scalable multiplayer experience. So the next aspect is actually the world ecosystem, so the utility token. This is going to be used basically for the in-game world economy, and it's used on Polygon for gasless transactions in-game, which is a great potential for scalability there. And the last piece is the virtual world marketplace. Every game has some sort of in-game marketplace, and so this will be their form of this, and you can buy skins, etc. So that's going to be kind of the way that this is made up. And kind of the biggest reason I want to get into this graphic first is because being built on top of Minecraft, it opens up a huge market for NFT Worlds right off the bat. You don't necessarily need to go sell people on your game. It's just that these are games that are being created with a game engine that people are familiar with, which is Minecraft. So you can see kind of the insane numbers here, right? 141 million monthly active users. And right now there are only 64,000 all-time players for NFT World. So the gap there is just enormous. And if we look at kind of where 141 million stacks up in terms of other games, I pulled up, let's say, for example, League of Legends. They're at about 127 million monthly active players. So Minecraft is arguably the most played game on a monthly basis out there, most popular game in the world. And if you look at something like Call of Duty, 8.5 million. If you look at something like World of Warcraft, we're talking 5.7 million-ish. And one of the kind of most important things that ArkDev and Tem Tranquil, who are the founders of NFT Worlds, what they were talking about is, hey, even if we grab a small percentage of this total 141 million player base here, and you can see that it's steadily grown over time for Minecraft, if they even grab a percentage of that, you're talking, something close to a Call of Duty level, popularity, or World of Warcraft level popularity. 1% of that population of Minecraft players is 1.4 million. Doubling that or tripling that, you're talking about heavy volume. And why that is so important in terms of the future success is because if we look at this average monthly volume for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, around 8.5 million active users, if we look at how much that brings in for them per day on an in-game transaction basis, we're talking about $2 million per day. Now, I'm not saying that all of the in-game world, attractions are going to be as viral as what Call of Duty Modern Warfare offers, but I'm saying even if a small percentage of those million active users for NFT Worlds actually end up purchasing something in-game, this could mean a ton of revenue from that side as well. So just a ton of upside when we're looking at the ability for NFT Worlds just to even get a small fraction of this number. It would be absolutely astronomical for the success of the project. And in terms of the upside right now, with only 64,000 players and the current token price at about 6.5 cents, the current floor price at about 4 ETH, you're talking about incredible upside, 10x, 100x upside, right? So definitely just want to kind of set that backdrop as we go through this. So here are some quick stats. 36K players new to crypto who have not had a MetaMask, have not been involved in crypto, have come into the NFT Worlds ecosystem and actually played. 64,000 total players, 250,000 total player hours, and almost 1 million in-game world transactions. And that's been really, really made painless and smooth by that gasless in-game transaction mechanism that they've set up via Polygon. And so here's kind of breaking down a little bit more about the actual world token. There's going to be 5 billion supply. And one of the most important things I want to point out about this graphic is that NFT Worlds has done a great job making this a very community-centered tokenomics distribution, right? So what I mean by that is you can see claim, new staking reserves, P2E rewards, all three of these groups. So almost 70%, actually a little bit more than 70% of the allocation for the distribution is going towards the community. So they're only taking 22%. This is what my video is covering: 22% for liquidity reserves and 5% for team reserves. So the rest of that is going in some way, shape, or form to the community, whereas like a Sandbox or Decentraland actually had most of theirs not going to the community. So just a very, very interesting take here, and it just speaks to where they see the future of this. They're in it for the long haul. They believe in their ability to create a viral ecosystem, and that kind of speaks to their dedication to kind of reward the community just outright and upfront. The next part is just breaking down a little bit about what World is actually going to use for. So the token that we just discussed. Essentially, you're going to be able to earn with play to earn games in the actual metaverses themselves in each individual world. You can purchase in-game skins, avatars, etc., and even have a .world wallet domain that you can that you can purchase. And then this aspect over here for governing is just world staking to worlds for the P2E faucet voting. So there's going to just be a lot of use cases, and they're hoping to add more here in the future for World Token. And obviously this all means upward buy pressure on the price ideally. So when you get all this together, their idea is that you have players getting access to great games. They're rewarded for their time via in-game World Token. Communities get access to a new immersive virtual space and revenue streams to reward their fans. And then creators and developers get access to new audiences for their games and digital items. So the idea is that you have all these three separate entities getting value, and therefore creating kind of this wheel of value that gets more and more intense as you go and more impactful as you go. And the idea here, if I pull this out just to get an idea of what kind of games are offered right now, basically 31 playable worlds are up right now. Over 100 different projects are verified and building currently. So we should expect 100 plus worlds, 100 plus games available to be played. And if we look at a couple options here in terms of what's actually available now, it is quite interesting. We have this fighter jet game called Mine Nations that has people P2E team deathmatch with F1 fighter jets. Pretty interesting. People are getting very, very creative here. We have another property that is working on building portals, so you can actually portal from one world to another. Very, very interesting in terms of what that could mean for the future of bringing different metaverses together and different worlds together. And obviously my Wi-Fi doesn't want to work right now, but portaling to different worlds also opens up the possibility for connecting different experiences between different metaverses. So just a really, really interesting, strategy and gameplay immersion tactic that they're using here. So the next thing that I want to pop into here is this flywheel that we were referencing before. So the idea is that as creators join, the variety and quality games increases, which attracts even more players. Creators build games in the ecosystem, and the ecosystem becomes more valuable to players. Then more players join the ecosystem, who make it more valuable for more creators to join. So you can see this is just an interdependency flywheel that's created to essentially boost the value of the ecosystem over time and grow exponentially. So just a very, very interesting tactic that they're employing. And I think, the organic growth that we've seen so far without any marketing, all of those players are coming from no marketing, I think speaks to this kind of virality of the product and of the project itself. And so just quickly highlighting a couple of things that they were able to accomplish recently. They've added multiplayer capability, something that Sandbox, Decentraland don't have, gasless transactions, cross-platform support, and obviously linking player wallets. So even people without MetaMask can come in, earn World Token, and have it sit in a player wallet. That's part of what we were talking about with those new crypto users being onboarded. So it's really, really interesting to see the frictionless way that they're actually getting non-crypto native people into Minecraft. So just Minecraft players who do not have any experience with crypto, bringing those people into the ecosystem as a whole new player base. And here's kind of this, if you've been following this project, you've probably seen this graphic before, but here's where it stacks up against something like a Sand or Mana, right? A lot of this stuff, Sandbox and Decentraland are, still way out from, maybe within the next year they'll come out with some of this stuff, but, things like in-game smart contracts, things like fully programmable worlds, things like real-time in-game editing, massive multiplayer, all of this kind of stuff really makes an impact in the ability for these different metaverses to attract players. And right now, NFT Worlds has just the most variety and the most capability in terms of the ability to attract players right now. So definitely something to keep an eye on. I'm sure Sandbox and Decentraland are busy building, but right now NFT Worlds has a huge start, and first to the market, is a huge advantage. The first mover advantage is always helpful in crypto. So going to this kind of thought of exponential growth, we referenced this before, and you can see that starting from when they began working on the World Payments API, world staking and renting, everything that they've done has just incrementally increased the ability for folks to come in and play, particularly the in-player wallets and the game launcher. You can see right after those weeks that they're launched, you can see this almost increased exponential rate here going to the upside of total players, and they're now over 60,000 like we covered before. And the active in-game wallets are growing as well. So these are people that are using the Polygon gasless transaction mechanism in-game. So active in-game wallets has crossed 30,000. That's quite a good number of people that have actively looked to earn world token within the ecosystem and play with their in-game wallet. So definitely really, really cool to see. And if you're interested in seeing more, I can drop this link below, but they have put together a live dashboard where you can see how many people are playing now, how many worlds are live, what the total world transacted is, all that kind of good stuff. And so right now you can see there are 1376 players online right now, and you can see the total players over time, yellow line being folks who were not native to crypto, just Minecraft players that came in, and then green line being the total number of players. You can see that exponential movement right when those in-game wallets came out, and it became a little bit easier for people to use the game launcher to get in and hop into a game with a little less friction. But going back to what we were talking about, wanted to quickly touch on the next phase of their roadmap. So the next steps are coming in 3 phases. So they want to reduce friction and provide more tools and infrastructure to the players and the builders, and they want to scale mass player adoption and engage with content and interconnectivity throughout the ecosystem. And then the last bit is actually reinforcing a stable world economy across all the 10,000 worlds. So getting into this, we're just going to highlight a few key pieces coming down the pipeline in the next quarter or two. So they've had the Genesis Avatar Mint just recently. That's a set of 15,000 avatars that you can use in any of these worlds. And that was a separate mint. It's a sister project of NFT Worlds that's been launched. A CX centralized exchange listing is coming this quarter. But then things like player incentives, a revised tokenomics scheme, and actual marketing, that's stuff that I want to get into that is going to be a little bit more specific and catered to the actual goals and long-term effectiveness of the project. So let's look into that. First of all, incorporating world into games and communities. So this is the play to earn faucet, which allows for the in-game economy to subsidize player rewards on each one of these different worlds. So these stake tokens will be held as collateral by the faucet contract and slashed if creators misuse their allocation of faucet disbursements. So this is supposed to basically help with the security and the guaranteed aspect of these world transactions and these payments coming through, because if they're not able to pay, right, that takes away from the legitimacy of NFT Worlds overall. So they're kind of trying to, crowd control here in terms of their experience and standardizing that for players. The next aspect I wanted to talk about is this World Launchpad program. So this is actually going to be ready to go templated contracts and code bases for teams to bootstrap their own metaverse. So things like, growing the value of the world ecosystem, scaling adoption within their own world. This is going to allow for people to just jump in, have a few code bases, basically setting up the very, very basics of the metaverse already there for you. And so that would make it really, really easy for new people, new developers to hop in and then start building, without having to do it from scratch. So really cool stuff there. The other thing, now this gets into the way how well this project manages their funds. So first of all, player incentives. They're going to take $5 million for content creation incentives, which will kind of fuel user generated content. And then they're going to take $3 million in player incentives for referral programs and other kind of community engagement tactics for the ecosystem. So they're taking $8 million in the next year to kind of make sure and cultivate that community engagement side of things. But this is probably one of the most impressive. So they've had 64,000 total players with zero marketing spend. So now they're talking about actually putting together some sort of marketing plan going forward to take this to the next level, to exponentially grow the project. And this is kind of the general idea. So they want to target players, creator communities, and builders, and basically want to reach, engage, and retain these. And they want to onboard non-crypto players. They want to educate existing creator communities and then incentivize the verified builder network to create high quality content and experiences exclusively on NFT Worlds, which would then obviously bring more people. So I'm really excited. You can think about how successful this project has been with no marketing budget. It's pretty incredible. It's already seen exponential growth. So just imagining what it's going to do with marketing budget behind it, it gets me really, really excited. And finally, I kind of want to just quickly touch on what the team has done previously. So ArkDev and Tim Tranquil, these are the co-founders of NFT Worlds, and they have previously had companies privately held that were actually bought out by New York Stock Exchange listed companies. They've scaled 4 venture-backed technology companies in the past. So they know what they're doing here. They know how to build moats. They know how to create flywheels. They know how to, make a project viral. So there's a lot of great experience behind this. They're doxed. They're not going to rug. That's come at a premium lately, given how rough the market's been. But a great project to follow, guys. And, I think with how much runway this project has for the cheap price of, 6.5 cents, roughly there, I think that it's almost a steal where it's at. If we go here, it looks like right now we're sitting at 6.5 cents, give or take, given the amount of potential that this has, given if it even gets 1% of the Minecraft audience, we're talking millions of dollars in revenue. We're talking about a very large video game company. And this has barely just gotten started. So really, really excited to see the potential here. I think, easily could 10x to 65 cents, 70 cents in no time. So I'm definitely excited about this project. Definitely let me know in the comments if you've heard of this before, if you've been following NFT Worlds, or if you want me to cover other projects that are in this space. But thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.